All right, welcome in. Horse racing, the sassy music. SoCal Saturday. Hanging out with Barry Spears. My name is Louie Rabaut. So glad you decided to spend part of your day with us. I know it's Thursday and not Friday, but I am hanging out with Barry Spears at the show today. This is hanging out on the platform. Earlier today, we did a Big Six preview for Saturday at Churchill Downs. Once they are done running, man, you are going to be looking at Los Alamitos. We're going to be talking about the Los Alamitos Derby. Baffert. Calling his law firm this week. I think very frankly, they're not pretty much better.
Yeah, a lot better than one would expect, because a lot of people out west kind of go on vacation, do a lot of things during this section of time to gear up for the whole summer. So it's surprising to get these kind of cards like this at this time right before Saratoga. So it's a nice little focal point.
And of course, Del Mar will be the focal point in 2 weeks on this show. One more week at Los Al in Orange County. Of course, we're doing the LA County meet thing there in Orange County because it's horse racing, people. That's what we do around here. We make you confused. That is the idea, of course. Hey, this show, of course, tomorrow on my ESPN radio show, I'll be out at Churchill Downs doing a full Stephen Foster preview. We'll talk with Kevin Kilroy. Churchill's trying to get to people like me. They got a Kevin Kirstein and a Kevin Kilroy on the same staff. Two dudes I have to interact with. I'm onto your game. I'm onto the game, Churchill Downs, trying to confuse me and get those two guys mixed up. They could not be more different dudes. And so I'll talk with Kevin Kilroy tomorrow at 10:20, our usual horse racing segment on Fridays. You may have heard Barry on that segment as well. Always love when Barry's able to jump in on the radio and help me out that way. But we'll be out there at Churchill Downs. Of course, our Saturday preview, like I said, just released with Matthew DeSantis. You can find everything that I do at the Horse Racing Happy Hour podcast platform. Easiest to watch there on Spotify. Certainly want to thank our friends at Amwager and Amwager.com. All of the best betting in California done with our friends at Amwager. They've got the sign-up match right now, 100% match, up to $150 for new clients. Open right now in California as well. Get in with them right now. It's a awesome platform designed by horse players for horse players. Take you all the way through Los Al, Del Mar, back to Santa Anita, and on to Breeders' Cup. They've got you covered at Amwager and Amwager.com. Let's get into the card now, Barry. Race 1 here at Los Al is a claimer, 12-5 claimer, going 6.5 furlongs there on the dirt. Only dirt racing there at Los Alamitos. And Barry, I'll let you go first here, and I can always count on you to go a little bit longer, a little bit short of a field here. So 4-1, a nice number on number 5.
Yeah. This is an interesting race from the standpoint of, you get a lot of these where these turf horses and, they kind of try the dirt over at Los Al, and it makes for interesting racing. I thought the 5 Win Ribbon, who, seems to like the turf a little bit, but he's more of a dirt horse, and he's got some races to go to that fit very well in this spot, namely his February 7th race. Is an optional claim, an open optional claimer, 20,000 start allowance 16, and he won that day. That number he got was an 83 buyer speed figure, would win this race hands down. I think this is just the right spot for him. He should get a good trip. The pace scenario kind of sets up for him too.
Yeah, interesting opener for this. I think the early pick 5, which by the way is your 50-cent opportunity at Los Al. We'll talk about those minimums again in a minute. But the 5 horse I have last of my handicapping, you guys and I agree, the 5 and the 6, both in the top 3 of this race. I've got the favorite in the 6, Devil Be Me, in second. Man, I went to the 3 horse here on top in Carroll's Comic. You talk about horses coming off the turf. This is not one of those. 30 lifetime tries on the dirt, getting back to a level that I think will really work for this horse. Last win did come over wet, fast go there at Santa Anita, but before that, won in the 14 claimer kind of level for non-2 lifers. That's essentially what this level is here, Barry. It's also a horse that's hit the board in half of his lifetime races over the dirt 15 times in 30 runs. So we're getting down to that 12-5. We're getting into the gritty sort of part of horse racing here with this for Val Brinkerhardt in this spot. I do think Emma Lascano can win here. The two of them not great together, though, 1 for their last 26. So I hate that number, but the 6-1 price was a little too much for me to pass up. I'll let you talk about Devil Be Me here, who will be the favorite almost certainly.
Yeah, you can kind of toss that last race on April 20th. Just didn't get into it, and the horse bled and got in the ambulance, the whole 9. That raises obviously question marks into this race, especially being the favorite. But if this horse runs to anywhere what this horse did last year, he'll be right there, and he's going to be tough. I just wanted to side with the 5 just because of recency.
Sorry, I just clicked on the very wrong banner. I clicked on a Laurel Park banner. I don't know how that happened. But yes, I have the 6 in my handicapping as well. So I went 3-6-5 here. You went 5-6-2. Look, go ahead and make the case a little bit for So I'm Told.
Just really kind of a speed play. I think this horse will get out in front, and there's a possibility that this horse will shake loose a little bit and
Mm,
kind of hold on. This horse does quit quite a bit. That's why I didn't put this horse on the top. But it's one of those turf horses running on the dirt, and usually what happens is they get a burst of speed and then they kind of fizzle out. I think that's what we might see is this horse go to the lead and kind of do his best, but without being on the preferred surface, he'll probably quit.
yeah, no wins on the form for this one at the current time. So we'll have to do something it hasn't done in at least a little while. Again, Barry Spears, Louie Rabaut hanging out with you. SoCal Saturdays, we're here every week, usually on Friday afternoons, getting you ready for the Saturday card. I have stuff going on tomorrow, so Barry was kind enough to jump up early this week with me. Again, Amwager and Amwager.com. We encourage you to go check out our friends over there for all of your wagering there in California. Race 2 is an $8,000 claimer for fillies and mares, which have never won 2 races. We're going 5 furlongs on the dirt. We see a lot of these sort of sprint races. That slight right turn over there at Los Alamitos as well. Barry, I'll go first in this one. You and I have very different horses here. I have the 6 on top. Rhythm Girl is going to be the favorite here. Comes out of a $50,000 starter allowance for non-twos, and this was one that's only run on the dirt and only run on faster at Santa Anita. Before that, up north in Santa Rosa and in Fresno. Got its last win in an $8,000 claimer at Fresno. I love getting back into this kind of company. Has been running in higher level stuff. Yes, in restricted groups from the Northern California groups, but gets over to Los Al. I like the move here. I think the works recently have shown that this horse can be fast enough to win. And the switch to Kazushi Kimura, I think, will be really, really helpful. He's already won 30% of his races, 3 for 10 to start his time there at Los Al. Has hit the board in 7 of those 10 races. So look for Rhythm Girl to be part of that equation there as well. Barry, you landed on the 3. You're going to take a little bit of a shot here with Brevaville.
Yeah, that June 28th race at Pleasanton, where this horse broke his maiden going
Yep.
away in a 5.5, has me sold. There's really not much in here. These
Yeah.
horses are really inconsistent and not the fastest individuals. So that race, comparatively, is probably one of the better races on the page for anybody in this race. I think if he comes back, and I like the comeback race enough to where I can play this horse this time, stepping up a little bit, but I think this horse fits very well here, should do well, will be forwardly placed. Um, just needs to get the trip. That's all.
And you went to a Kitten for Sue on the outside, one we haven't seen since March. Did break its maiden at Fresno in one of those races that you've been talking about.
Yeah, he's a big drop down here, and I'd have to give him a shot just off that alone. He didn't really run too poorly in those races, and this is a big drop. Kind of suspicious in a way, but the horse really hasn't proved to be better than this. Was running in better races, but still wasn't winning or even coming close. So this is probably a warranted drop in class, and I think we'll see a better effort.
Yeah, you can kind of tell trainer Sergio Ledesma just trying to find out what she wants to do, right? And so maybe
Right.
this is the spot for her, maybe not. I went 6-5-1 here, so Sanger style second spot for me. Kyle Frey gets them out here for Sheldon Paldanius, and this is one that's coming out of nothing about the numbers here, Barry, makes sense, but this is one that hasn't run since June of last year, so almost a full year off. But this is a trainer, smaller barn, trying to figure things out. This horse makes its way over. I think the $8,000 spot is probably right for this horse that was bred for $2,500. And so we're talking about one dropping back into this group, was good on the Tapeta at Golden Gate before. It was sprinting under Billy into Georgie. We get Kyle Frey here, who, like Kazushi Kimura, started with 3 wins over the first weekend, just in 9 mounts at Los Al. Interested to see if this one off the bench has worked okay, but by the way, has been working at Los Al. And I like that the horse has been on the course there at least. Interesting drop again from 10 to 8 was really competitive at the 6250 number up north at Golden Gate Fields. Hoping we can get back to some of that form, Barry. Like we see turf horses translate well. We see sometimes those Golden Gate horses translate well to Los Al as well. Hoping that happens here. So I'm 6-5-1. You went 3-8-1. We both like the one in here, at least to get a piece in Never Not Once. And I think, Barry, mostly because just speed and one that seems to like at Los Al.
Yeah, that's really the attractor there. I don't really like the inside post, but probably the best of the rest, and we'll get out there and maybe make some waves early. But that trainer on the 5, that was quite a mouthful. 6 syllables on that name. Oof, you did good.
That's why you hang out with me. It's
right. Yeah, I mean, radio guy. I get it.
Louie. I got 4 vowels in this last name. You understand me? It's busy time over here. We'll move on to race 3, the end of the early pick 3. By the way, the minimums at Los Al a little different. Many things are $1. Many things like win, play, show bets, but also pick 3s, pick 4s, etc. So the pick 4 did start there in race 2. We'll start the pick 3 here in race 3. That's races 3, 4, and 5. We're going a mile. More of a classic thing there at Los Alamitos. It's a mile course, so we'll start and finish at the same spot. $13,000 in the kitty for a 6250 claimer, non-2 lifers in this spot. We see a big favorite in the morning line, at least in Mongolian Altai. This horse, of course, was previously trained by Anabesh Ganbat of Mongolian Groom fame, of course. Prior, that's a throwback in a little Mongolian Groom talking.
yeah,
little Breeders' Cup Classic talk. All right, so that horse is another one that's coming off of the turf here, but we have seen a winless on dirt, unfortunately. Just 1 win in 18 lifetime starts. This one a little easier to handicap, I think, Barry, just because we're just talking about, hey, you either have 1, 2 races or you haven't to get into this. There's no conditions or things like that. But you landed on the inside horse. Begin again, the 1 horse, 8-1. Nice price here.
Yeah, I think this horse might slip away and get a nice little early lead and continue on. One of few horses that have actually won on the dirt in this race. So I mean, it's hard for me personally to take a horse in Mongolian Altai at 6-5 on the morning line that's never won a race on the dirt. I mean, he certainly has every right to win this race based off his class and dropping down, things like that. But I would always take shots against horses like this in races like this, these lower level ones where a lot of wacky things can happen. These horses don't break well sometimes. Things just happen in these cheaper claimers. And why not begin again, getting on the front and taking them all the way?
Yeah, Labrado Borosio does train Mongolian Altai now. First time running with this trainer, he hits at 17%, 18% going turf to dirt. So this is one that I'm just going to trust Labrado on, trainer Labrado Borosio here. Aguilar keeps the mount here. I thought the horse looked really good last time in that claimer. Was right there at the end, gets beat by 3, but was in a blanket finish with a bunch of other horses in an 8-horse field. Gets into something similar here, Barry, and I think breaking from the 2, not a bad thing here. I went 2-1-3 because I need to regulate. You went a different route here with 1, 2, and 4. I'll let you talk about Ubabakayo here, who will break from the 4.
Man, you're killing it with these names, man. I can't do it. I wish I was that good. I'm not a wordsmith.
So there's a capital, and I'm trying. Ouagadougou is a West African capital. I think it's in Mali, of all countries, between Morocco, Algeria, and then getting down into like Niger and Burkina Faso, Togo, Benin, Nigeria, that kind of stuff. But this is not a word that I know. So I'll look this up while you're talking. But what do you like about the 4 horse here for Jesus Around? A little easier to say.
I think this horse is going to sit just a 1-run kind of trip. Getting back to this level makes a lot of sense. This horse ran pretty well at Los Al at this level previously in the shorter quarter horse mixed races. But even before that, this horse was kind of closing in a lot of races, and there's really not much going on. And I think this horse might be the best of the rest and get a piece of this.
Yeah, the internet's telling me it's just Bubba Kayo. Like it's just Bubba. I was hoping it was a West African reference, like
we're getting a lesson on how to pronounce things and geography. So I mean,
you're welcome, Amwager, for this.
Exactly, ahead of the game here.
How lucky are you? When you think West Africa in capitals, you think this.
That's what I'm saying. We need to get you on Jeopardy, man.
Thank you. You know what I'm way better at is Wheel of Fortune. Just
Okay.
considerably better than Wheel of Fortune. I love it. I watch it with my 11-year-old every day. We have a great time. His name is Thomas, not Uba Bakayo. Noftis is the 3-horse here. Los Al, I hate it for this guy. He's 0 for 14 in this meet. Edgar Payeras, excuse me, spent so much of his career there in the evenings at Los Al, a guy that I really respect and I really enjoy betting on Saturday and Sunday nights there. He'll pick up the mount here. This horse did go 5.5 last time under Payeras, keeps the mount. I wonder if the horse won't run a little bit better here. Was amongst the favorites last time. No changes here. I think the number might drift up just because the horse is over 6 this year. But I do think the 6,250 level makes a lot of sense for this one. Of course, did run for the Mike Pipey barn before moving to the Gennaro Vallejo barn there. Race 4, pick up there. Again, Amwager and Amwager.com. Go check out our friends over there. Maiden 12.5 here, going a mile on the dirt. Millie is for fillies and mares. 3 and up, of course, for maidens as well. I'll go first here, Barry, and this is one was very, very difficult for me to put together. I do think the favorite is a worthy favorite here, dropping from maiden 50 company to maiden 12.5. Under Kyle Frey keeps them out here for Mike McCarthy. I'm purely going on class here. I want to be very clear. Otherwise, Barry, you have the same sheet as I do. Who do I have in the second spot? I don't. Hey, Barry, who do I have in the third spot? I don't. And so bro, this was an impossible race for me to handicap here. I think you either single the 4 or you use as many as possible in a horizontal kind of sequence here, Barry. Where did you land here? And why was it the 4? Jaffer's Girl.
I kind of had the notion that Lady Lollipop was just dipping way too far down.
Okay.
That's a negative sign for me, especially for this barn, for the McCarthy barn. They really don't dabble in too many claimers, and especially 12.5 claimers. For this horse to run here is awfully suspicious in my mind. But Jafar's Girls run pretty evenly. I kind of like that race at 20,000. The maiden claimer 20,000 going a mile at Santa Anita on May 23rd. That was a pretty decent race. Came back off of that one. Was kind of wide the whole way. This is a way easier field to handle than that one, even though they weren't at a high level.
Right.
And I think this horse might sit a good trip too.
Yeah, she seems to have just kind of quit when she was there. You have Oscar Knight second. I looked at this one as well. Is going sprint to route here. Pretty good angle for trainer Hector Palma here. Hits and maiden claimers at about 10% too as well. So I guess I see the numbers there, especially Arantes, who gets to keep the bug at this point as well. So a little bit less weight for this one. What do you think about the son of Oscar dominated?
Yeah, I think the stretch out makes a lot of sense, and this horse should run better on the stretch out. Whether he really likes or she really likes the dirt or not remains to be seen. But there's a lot of question marks in this race. So Oscar Knight running well would not even remotely surprise me.
Yeah, if I was looking at another one, I might look at the Sergio Morfine trained Lady Dozia. She'll break from the 1 in this spot. Rojas Fernandez looking for his first win in this meet here as well. But I do think that one going 2 sprints to route makes a lot of sense. Stretch out that granddaughter of Scat Daddy. So get a little bit more of distance under that one, I think might be worthwhile as well. Closing out the early pick 5 is race 5. And I think, is it the only pick 5 on this card? I got to get that right. Make sure I don't do that. I think it is actually 5 furlongs on the dirt there. Maiden special weight here is for Calbreds that are 2 years old and for fillies. On this side, we've got a couple that are starting their second race here, Barry. We are in early 2-year-old season, but lots of first-time starters. This is usually where you and I are different, is in these kinds of maiden races, or most different, I should say, to be fair. But I see one overlapping horse here, which makes me interested. But you like a first timer here in 2 Sassy. Make the case.
Yeah, 2 Sassy is I like the workouts on this horse, to be honest with you. Showing a little zip, has a full sister named Om Sassy who won on debut. The last workout in particular I like, the June 13th, 48 out of the gate at San Luis Rey. And why not? I mean, there's really not much to go on in these kind of races. If you can find a horse with a little bit of pedigree and a little bit of precociousness, I'm willing to take a shot against favorites. So there we are.
Yeah, she's a daughter of Ohm, and that's an interesting line. We haven't seen a ton of high level success, but we've seen success. Obviously, the Munnings line there. Interested. Interested in that one because the works are so good, and how often, Barry, have we seen a horse that's great with the works and then other horses show up and they go, whoa, 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 this isn't what I want to do. Wanted to keep working over there. But no, if she puts together a race like she's been working, I think she's going to be a problem. Final Table Lady is the favorite here. I Interesting move from State Bread Company over at Santa Anita to this spot. I know it's just a little bit less money, but I thought she looked okay in that race, Barry. I thought she was very competitive early and just ran out of gas at the end. If this is a horse that develops, take a step forward at all, is easily the most logical to me in this spot. Does have a bullet work last out at Santa Anita, frankly. And then before that, out of the gate, that May 16th work, I know you love that, but that was way before this time, right? And she did that before her debut. In my mind, I think she's still very much on track. Those two works before then, no time to work since, but we're turning around quickly. To me, that tells me that Jorge Parabon, who's very good in maiden races, thinks that this one doesn't need another work, is just ready to go. And so I'll trust him on that. I know you have that horse second. You like a longer shot, Slash Alley, another firster in this spot.
Yeah. I thought we could take one downfield and try to throw one downfield to get this one in the try.
Yeah,
Has a lone sibling who won on debut. This horse has a nice work June 14th at Los Al, which is definitely something that piqued my interest.
no doubt.
Why not? In a race that's full of questions and question marks and who knows what they're going to do, why not go with a long shot?
Because I'm going with second time starters. Jasmina is the 3-horse here. Kyle Frank keeps them out here for Simon Callahan. He does not do this too terribly often, moving horses from turf to dirt. It's not an angle that we see very often from him, but he has won one of his last 5 times doing that. He does hit at 10% of maiden specials. I just think this level will be a bit easier than what that horse tried to accomplish on debut. So if I were to use a longer ticket, I think I would just go 7 and 3 here. I went 7, 3, 6 in my handicapping, which means I should talk about Keep the Povels, which is a first-time starter here. Not a great wrangle for Ed Freeman in this one. Over his last 11, Gio Franco does get the mount here, but he does hit at 12% generally in maiden specials. Small barn, 16 starters this year so far. But this is a horse, Barry. Look at those works at San Luis Rey coming out of the gate. Those are fast enough to win in this kind of company. So Keep the Povels, my most interesting horse that is a first-time starter in this spot. Hey, over there. That's Barry Spears. I'm Louie Rabaut. We're hanging out with you on SoCal Saturdays. We're here every week. Get you ready for the big races in Southern California. We're at Los Al this weekend looking at the Los Al Derby. That'll be in race 8. We've just gone through the early part of the card and races 1 through 5. We're presented by Amwager, amwager.com. Go check them out right now. You get a sign-up bonus right now. No promo codes, none of that stuff. A match 100% up to $150 on your first deposit for new clients over there, new customers with our friends at Amwager and Amwager.com. Race 6 starts a later part of the sequence here, and we're talking about the late pick 4. Again, $1 minimum on all of the pick 4s there at Los Alamitos. It's a $40,000 claimer going 6 furlongs, and this is for 3 and up. No restrictions on this race, Barry. If your horse is in for 40, your horse is in for 40. You and I have one overlapping horse. Goodness gracious. This is either going to be, you're going to look great, I'm going to look terrible, or the other way around, or both of us are going to look terrible. Yeah, right. There's just no in between here. There is no fourth option where we both look good. There just isn't one. That one doesn't exist. And so I know you landed here on the 6 horse in the 6th race, and that is Manitou-ish. What do you think that name is? Manitou-ish?
Yeah, I usually say Manitou-ish, but
Manitou-ish. Okay, there you go. Why do you like Manitou-ish?
I like when horses take short layoffs or even longer ones. 60, 90 days. And when they come back running, that usually spells they have another good race in them.
Yep.
And usually it's right away. This horse was off slowly in that race on June 13th at Santa Anita. Didn't really get a great run. Got a good number, a good buyer figure.
Really?
Drops in here, and I think that's the difference maker. This horse really dominated an event last year in September at Los Al in a race very similar to this one. Should get the same kind of trip. There's enough speed in here to set it up for something like that, and I think this horse is the goods.
I am on the favorite here, the 4-horse Devil Among Us. It will be first off the claim for the aforementioned Librado Barrocio, who is hitting only at 32% in those kinds of races.
Oof.
So I'm feeling pretty good about that. 19% second off the layoff here, which this horse is having run in March and then again in mid-May. Ran good second in a 20,000 optional claimer at Santa Anita at 6 furlongs. This horse has run 9 times in the money at the distance out of 10 possible starts. So 90% hitting the board in this kind of company, or at least at this distance, I should say, and 2 for 4 with 2 seconds at Los Al as well. So this horse for course, also just good at the distance. I think this is one to watch. Edwin Maldonado gets the mount there. The two of them hitting at a terrible percentage. So hopefully that will go up once we get to Saturday. I went with the 3 horse here, and you have that horse second in your excuse me, you do not have that horse in your handicapping at all. Excuse me. You and I both have the 7 in our handicapping, and I will let you talk about Awesome Rhythm breaking from the outside. Our guy, Armando Ayuso.
Yeah, it makes you wonder why they don't run this horse on dirt more. The 2 races, in the one in January and the one in March, were pretty good, and they fit at this level. The horse came back running on the turf again, and on the cutback seems to make a lot of sense. Beef Winslow is a pretty nice horse, and this if this horse takes to the dirt a little bit, might be pretty tough. I almost put this horse on top, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and Awesome Rhythm looks like this is the exact spot they need to be in. Victor Garcia, the trainer here. Of his wins this year, by the way, he has 3 of them. One of them is this horse, right? Winning at the non-3 level, 30,000 claimer at Santa Anita. So I'm with you largely on the 7, who I have 3rd in my handicapping. I also looked at the 5 here, Money Run, Kyle Frey again for Peter Miller. I'm obviously drawing a line through the last 2 races and trying to get back to what this horse does well. And that was win at the $40,000 level at the distance at Churchill Downs, 4 for 11 lifetime. I like the move to Kyle Frey here. A little bit of time off from September last year. No worries there. 6-month plus kind of layoff for a Peter Miller trainee is hitting at 14%. And what do I love? That last workout, Barry, there June 18th at San Luis Rey, out of the gate. We get a bullet. We get a 59 and change. That's the kind of workout I want to see from a horse that's coming back off a long layoff. I think Money Run is going to give us a very, very good and honest effort on Saturday as well. Go ahead and talk about the 2 horse here in Geezer, since both of us very much identify that way.
It's funny in these kind of races, especially at Los Al, you kind of get the feeling that even though this is a $40,000 claimer, it's playing like more of a $30,000 or $25,000 claimer.
I agree.
Yeah. And that's the thing that happens when you come from Santa Anita to this short Los Al meet, and this horse is dropping down quite a bit, and it kind of scares me a little bit. And the running style, I think this horse might be a little bit too far back to try to get in the win spot unless it's a complete meltdown. But this horse is obviously talented, has 4 wins on the dirt at in general, 2 wins at Los Al, which this could be a horse for the course. But I just felt that this horse might be a little bit too far back to kind of get all the money.
Race 7 will start the late pick 3 again, a $1 pick 3 there at Los Alamitos. Barry Spears, Louie Rabaut hanging out with you SoCal Saturdays. We'll be on the Sporting Tribune later today. We'll throw it up on the YouTube page there, of course, as well. And if you're not watching us there, read my weekly column, at least at Sporting Tribune, that releases every Friday night or Saturday morning ahead of the major race on Saturday. This is an $80,000 optional claimer here for non-2s, $49,000 in the purse. We've got a couple of very, very nice races that maiden special in this one at a high level, of course, outside of the Los Al Derby. I'll go first here, Barry. I went 1, 2, 3 in this race. And I'll take Fayette Fox on top here. This is one you speak about, dropping out of stakes company. This is one that ran 3rd in the Desert Stormer last out of listed stakes at Santa Anita, going 6 furlongs on the dirt. Only a field of 3, so of course you had to run in the top 3 there, but was behind Chismosa and Super Shine. So I think this daughter of Sharp Azteca fits in this company really well. The speed figures seem to work out there as well. Is in good form. Most recent workouts seem to fit at Santa Anita as well. So I think she's got a real shot here. Prancing Through Paris is the 2 horse Juan Hernandez, whose name we hear for the first time today. He'll be in to ride on the Los Al Derby and on the favorite as well for Bob Baffert. This one comes out of the Franz Valentine and out of the Irish O'Brien. Now, both of those are on turf. And something you and I have talked about a lot on this show since we moved to Los Alamitos is that move from turf to dirt, because that horse is batting 500 on the turf. But if the horse is ready to go right now, Peter Urton's saying, hey, no, we ran in May. We got a chance at a purse. Look, there's $50,000 purse here, right? I mean, there's money in this race. And so interested to see her in this spot, but I think it makes sense. And guess what? She's won over this course before at 5.5 furlongs. We're going 6.5 here. So I trust her a lot in this spot. And then Grand Slam Smiles, the $3 billion to Georgie picks up the mound here. This is one that was running at Pleasanton most recently under Frank Alvarado. God, that's a name I haven't said in a minute. But
feel like he's been riding since I've been playing horses, and that's a long time, dude.
I shout out to Frank Alvarado. Shout out.
Yeah.
He's been at it forever. This one gets Lasix for the first time. Isn't that interesting that this horse has never had Lasix, has been running in high level races? We saw this horse on the Torrey Pines at Del Mar, for example, run a third behind a Hop Rod and Nothing Like You, this sort of thing. Interesting to see her here, but has moved to the McCarthy barn out of that spec barn. Interesting. I simply don't know. So I went 1, 2, 3 here, Barry. You are not terribly dissimilar. You went 7, 3, and 1. So you've got Sakura Blossom on top. Our guy, Armando Ayuso.
Yeah. This is another one that it's mind-boggling why they don't run this horse on the dirt more. He's 3 for 5 on the dirt. He's never run at Los Al, but his last few races on the dirt stack up quite nicely here. I guess where the gamble is for me is the cutback from 1.5 miles. That scares me a little bit because of the fact is the pace. The pace is a lot different, obviously, at 1.5 miles than it is at 6.5.
Yep.
But in this horse's favor, they went to the lead and stopped. So it could have been, get a little bit more bottom off the layoff. This makes a lot of sense. This horse won a 50,000 start allowance 50 at Santa Anita going 7 furlongs last February. Fits well here. I just don't see how this horse can't compete well in this spot, especially with some question marks with the turf horses and, the inside horse, which I just don't like that post.
I would love to know the last time a horse ran 1.5 miles and then won a 6.5 furlong race on a different surface. I can't even imagine how short that list is. It's
got to be super duper short, unless it's like a quick turnaround,
Yeah.
Like they come back in like 6-7 days after kind of a workout in the longer race, but we'll see.
I mean, this horse won the Arizona Oaks as a 3-year-old, right? I mean, she's no slouch for sure. And so that maybe just a softer spot, try to get that, that confidence back up, something like that for the Leonard Powell barn. But yeah, interesting spot. But hey, you put 50 grand up for a race, man, people are going to show up, and we've obviously got that.
Well, the workouts, the last 2 in particular, it looks like they're trying to go for speed. So, that nice 46 and then the 47 from the gate, they're training some speed into this horse. So I don't think she's going to be too far off it. And being on the outside, I think that's an advantage as well.
The Los Al Derby is race 8. And so Barry, we're gonna start playing the games that we play on the horse racing happy hour here. Are you familiar? I'm sorry. How much do you love Married with Children? I shouldn't ask if you're familiar. I should ask you how much you love
it. It is very high on my list of sitcoms all time.
All right. So we're gonna play a game since it is the Los Al Derby, and I'm thinking of Al Bundy. Okay. So if the horse can win, we're gonna say yes, pig. Okay. And if the horse cannot win, we're gonna say no, pig. Okay, that's what we're gonna play today.
Right.
Here on just the most professional show ever called SoCal Saturdays. We're presented by Amwager. My name's Louie. He's Barry. $100,000 in this one, 1.1 miles on the dirt there. A field of 5, 3 Bafferts, an O'Neill, and a Garcia in this one. We'll start with that Garcia. It's a factor. The aforementioned many times. Armando Ayuso getting the mount. This horse is 0 for 6 this year. Won 1 race last year, and that was a maiden 32 going 5.5 at Del Mar. Barry, do we just thank this horse for making this race go and move on?
No, thank you, Peg.
No, Peg. Yeah, that's right. I agree with you. And no, Peg. Thanks for being here. He is newly gelded. Congratulations.
Oof, I don't know about that. Not, 3 years old. He might need those.
Another newly gelded horse is Tis Secure. He'll break from the 2, Bob Baffert and Drayden Van Dyke. Barry, I know exactly what you're going to say here.
Oh, yeah. He's a Polk High champion. So, yes, Peg. Definitely.
many touchdowns in the state championship. You have him on top in your handicapping. I do not. I'm an no peg on this one. And so you and I very different on the top of this one. Of course, Tis Secure, a son of Maximum Security. Interesting seeing him in a Baffert barn there. But we move on away from the no pegs to the third horse here in rank. Who ran in the affirmed last out. We see the Gaming won that one, by the way, if you remember, on this show earlier in June, the 8th of June. They ran the affirmed, and Gaming, Nevada Beach, and Rank finished in the top 3 in that order. Rank was the number 3 horse there. Barry can turn around and be the number 1 horse here.
Maybe peg. I got this horse third. And kind of is the best of the other horses that aren't Bafferts.
Okay.
But I think the running style fits here because Varney, the 4 horse, might be kind of lone speed unless it's a factor wants to kind of tangle. And that's definitely quite a possibility because it doesn't seem like of the 3 Bafferts, Varney is the one that they really want to win.
No peg.
Ooh.
I'm off rank today.
Oh.
It's me putting Doug O'Neill down.
Bold move, sir.
Is that Kazushi? Oh, I don't like that at all. All right, now I'm a no, though. I'm going to stay on the no. All right, we're going to move to the 4 horse here. Vardy, another Bob Baffert trainee here, broke his maiden. They shipped him to Pimlico for Preakness weekend to break his maiden. We've seen him run at Santa Anita and now at Pimlico. What a world traveler this one. Hector Barrios picks up the mount here. Talk to me, Barry.
No peg.
No peg in this case. Boy, what is it like to be wrong? This one's a definite yes peg for me for the reason that you just said, which is this one I think has a chance to inherit the lead. And with Bob Baffert trainees, when they can get the lead, that's essentially all I need to see. So I think the 4 and the 5 are going to go. I think he's going to be the one that goes. I think he's going to set it up for Nevada Beach. Obviously, if I'm talking about Nevada Beach that way, I'm a yes peg on this. What say you, sir?
Yes, peg, definitely. Okay. I mean, personally, this happens with a lot of Bafferts when he enters more than 1 horse in the race.
Right.
One of them's a sacrificial lamb. I mean, it was Rodriguez for a while until the horse actually got good. Right. And then, when they weren't riding that horse not to win, the horse was winning. I think the similar kind of situation with Varney. I think Varney's in here as a target for Nevada Beach.
Yes.
So we'll see, but
we've seen Hector on the front too, though, and that
guy. Right, exactly. That's what I mean. It could go any one of 3 ways, obviously, with the 3 Bafferts, but at least on paper, Varney just doesn't look as good as Nevada Beach. I think Nevada Beach needs a target, and that's why Varney's in here.
I am 5-4-3 in the Los Al Derby. Barry is 2-5-3 in the Los Al Derby. We will move on to the closer. It is race 9 at Los Alamitos. We're going 6 furlongs on the dirt. This is for state breds, 3 years old and up. We're running for a 12.5 claiming price and a $15,000 purse in this one. Getting back into the state ranks here, Barry, we also see a fair number of those horses who've been running in the Northern California races. You and I, this is our race this weekend that we are very, very similar. We have the 8 Charlie Pride and the 9 Robarondo on top. Why don't you talk about Charlie Pride?
Yeah, I like when horses do what Charlie Pride is doing. Running at a higher level, drop down to a lower level, run really good, not win. The second time they run at that level, they usually catch a good field and are ready to win. Unfortunately, in this case, this horse is going to be favored, but looks like the goods in this spot for sure. Comparatively with everybody else, this horse has some, better races than the ones that have run.
Yeah, 12.5 claimer here. We see Robarondo is running at the 30 level there at Turf Paradise. Put him up in that in the maiden optional. Frankly, the race was 5.5. Had the race been 6, I'm not sure that this race that he'd be qualified for this one because I think he breaks his maiden last time. I think the 6 furlongs will be better for him. We saw him run at the distance 2 back at Turf Paradise, a second that wasn't as good as the one previously. So hopefully, Barry, like you said about Charlie Pride, we're seeing that as well with the 9 horse in Robarondo. I think, frankly, what I've been trying to do with this show, especially, I'm playing that late pick 4, the $1 pick 4, because that's what people play with. That's what they think of when they think of Los Alamitos. I'll use the 8 and the 9 as my anchor in the last. You've got the 12 in the third spot here, and he's quite mischief. A son of Curlin to Mischief, of course, a Calbred there. And look, man, what do you like about this horse? Let us know.
He kind of embodies what I was just saying. He was running at 30,000 before the layoff.
Yep.
He got laid off December 6th, comes back May 9th in a state bred maiden 12.5. Stops and pops against Charlie Pride and riding by. Then goes into a similar race, another maiden 12.5, and runs second to a runaway winner and was clear of the third place horse, a length and some change.
Okay.
I don't see why this horse can't hang around and get to the lead and kind of hang around like I was saying before. That happens in races like this where there's really not that much speed. I mean, Far Overloaded might be out there, but there's also those possibilities where horses just don't get out of the gate. Far Overloaded doesn't seem like a great breaker himself anyway, so why not?
Yeah, I have Far Overloaded in the third spot here just for the reasons you mentioned.
4-year-old running against 3-year-olds. I mean, there's a lot to like for a horse that's going to be 20-1 plus.
Yeah, for the 12 horse here. Yeah, I got the 6 in the third spot here. Bautista keeps them out here. Ran a good second last time at Santa Anita at 5.5. I think the 6 will be just fine. This is one, unfortunately, that has run second 6 times in 11 starts. That's why I don't have this horse anywhere near the top. So I'll take 8-9, just like Barry, but hey, maybe a little 8-9 over 12 to close it out as well. Oh boy, here it is. Louis said Turf Paradise 3 times. That Turf Paradise juice is coming for. Hey, Jake.
Oh, JD.
You put that on me, Jake. Throw that on me there. But there you go. Happy Los Al Derby Saturday to everyone who celebrates and partakes there in Cyprus. I hope everyone has a great day. Say hi to Los Ponies for us. Tell Michael Rona to keep posting photos of random tacos that he finds in Los Angeles as well. It's all very, very delightful out there. But for Barry Spears, I'm Louie Rabaut. This has been another rendition of SoCal Saturdays. I'll be out at Churchill Downs tomorrow on my ESPN Louisville show. You can join me 10 to noon Eastern time on that. Easy to stream anywhere in the world, either at ESPNLouisville.com or somewhere else. Talk with Kevin Kilroy and others, getting you ready for Stephen Foster Saturday there at Churchill Downs. Ellis Park preview on Wednesday next week in the 11 o'clock hour of that show. Tyler Gaffalione will be my first guest as he gets back into racing following his injury. I'm so glad he was able to carve out time for that interview. Barry, he was working horses this morning, man. I can't imagine.
Nice.
Felt, man. That's so good. The sport will be better when Tyler is riding again. That's all I'll say about that. But lots of previews will be up at this platform. Man, again, thanks to Amwager. They hang out with us every single week here on SoCal Saturdays, amwager.com. Go get that 100% deposit match up to $150 at all those tracks in California. They want your business, and so they are trying to help you out with a sign-up bonus there. Barry, I'm Louie. Look for us next week on SoCal Saturday.